All right, and welcome to case study number 15 of the series, so brilliantly titled Kirk's 40 Case Study Closings. I'm your host, Ryan Kirk, and these case studies range from vacant lots to custom luxury homes and total $2,042,081.71 in profits and equity without having to personally go see the property on some, and with no cash, no credit of my own. It varies, and I'll explain. I do it all with FlipLogic and 1-888 Cash Offer. Now let's get into number 15 of the 40 case studies. And that brings us to 90 Pepper Tree, Chula Vista, California. You'll notice it's a fixer from, we've got an exterior and an interior kitchen shot there. So, but you know, it's still livable. It's in need of a total cosmetic fixer. And you could call it a major rehab because it's not just, carpet and paint. We're talking, got to upgrade the kitchen, upgrade the baths, new flooring, paint, new roof. So, I mean, this thing needed everything. So it was a vacant property, and you can see that from the photos. Standard sale on the MLS. That's the lead origination. That's where it came from, is the MLS. And you could duplicate that by going into FlipLogic, running instant lead search for seller, and this was by agent. So that's how you could find this. And you would notice that it was in need of fixing, and just you got to import the lead, run a quick analysis, and get your offer to the seller or the seller's agent. So seller's motivation, they just had relocated. So I don't know if they were using this as a rental or if they were living there and that they had just moved into a new property. So I don't remember. This may have been owner occupied, and then they had moved out. So the ARV on it was $899. The repairs we estimated about $30 a square foot. Again, when it's really bad, you got to touch everything. You're talking 35 to 40 in higher ARV markets like this. In lower ARV markets, you're probably closer to $20 a foot, having to go in and touch everything. So we had this right at $30 a foot purchase price. We got the seller to agree to $570, of course, by asking if we pay all cash, paid all closing costs, closed in 14 days or on the date of your choice, what's the best price you could do? And seller was agreeable to $570. We were able to find an investor on our existing investor list that we've built and that we always send our deals out to when we have them under contract. And our investor went over there. We didn't have to be on site. Investor walked the property. The property's vacant, so no need to be there to go see it. He liked it, was willing to do it at $590, which was a $20,000 profit to us, dollar for dollar, because we used an assignment at $570 and sold it at $590. Now the funding, you'll notice it says we added a co-buyer, and then they closed with cash. So what happened here was the seller wanted us to close in our vesting. They did not want us to change the vesting to another buyer, and I don't know if that was them or if that was their agent who had advised them to do that, and they were just being hard-nosed. So what we did was, and you can do this with REOs, you can do this with short sales, but what happened is when we got a few days before closing, what we did was we did an addendum adding our investor as a co-buyer, just like you would add a co-borrower to a loan application. You can add a co-buyer to your purchase and sale agreement, and you can do that by an addendum. So it was just, so-and-so corporation to be added as a co-buyer to the purchase and sale agreement, number one. Number two, vesting to be, us and a percentage, say like 5%, and the added co-buyer, say 95%, as tenants in common. So that's how the vesting would be. So of course the And then how we explained that to the seller and the seller's agent was that we're adding our construction partner on, to the deal, and they were fine with that. So we added them on, and then a couple days, maybe I want to say before they were gonna set up the signing for them to go do their grant deed. So it's a couple days before closing, we had done another addendum, just removing ourselves off of the contract and vesting to be, just our co-buyer. So we took ours off, vesting to be just our co-buyer. We did that with a second addendum, and then of course it's just like an assignment. We told escrow to add our fee onto the buyer's HUD as an assignment fee, the $20,000, and the seller signed off on that addendum. Because what do they care? It's a couple days before closing, where everything's moving forward. What does it matter, right? So I think the reason why agents will advise their sellers not to do that is because there are a lot of people out there who that aren't doing this business correctly, and they are wasting people's time, sellers' time, by putting properties under contract and then not being able to perform and canceling. So the way that they limit that is just by not allowing you to assign it. So again, if they kind of put you in a box like that, not a big deal. You can just add on your investor as a co-buyer and then remove yourself right before closing. If they will not allow you to remove yourself before closing, then what you can do is you can just close that way. Your investor will wire the full balance. You guys will close, and then what will happen is you can give your investor a quick claim deed, and he's going to give you a check for your assignment fee, and then he records the quick claim and pulls you off. So not a big deal if you run into a seller or a seller's agent who will not allow you to assign it. Those are the two workarounds, either removing yourself off right before recording or removing yourself off after closing with a quick claim deed. You could still always use transactional funding, short-term funding, flash funding, one-day dough, transactional funding. Those are the AKAs for it. You could always do that too, but then you're going to incur double closing costs, and you're going to incur financing fees from the lender. So it's always best to just do the workaround when you can, because it's going to put more money in your pocket, right? And that's always a good thing. And it also reduces the paperwork, less paperwork, because it's only one escrow, only one closing. All right, I hope that was helpful. And again, on this, as far as cash was concerned for the deposit, I don't recall, but the workaround for that, 5 business days on your purchase and sale agreement for when your deposit's due. That should give you about 7 calendar days. And then you can, make your deposit something reasonable. Again, 500, 1,000. In this case, we probably used 1%, which was 5,700. So you can do that. If they counter you up to 3%, not a big deal. Again, if you've got 5 business days on there for when it's due, you should, on a good deal like this, be able to have an investor go over there, give you a non-contingent commitment, verbally, physically sign an assignment, wire his deposit in there, and then you would never have had to put up the deposit. So, all right, so that's how you can truly do a deal with no cash of your own, not even a deposit. I hope that was helpful. Thanks again for watching. And as you know, only 10% of YouTube videos are watched until the end. So if you're in that 10%, you're a hustler, persistent, determined to succeed, and I wish you much success. So thanks for watching. I look forward to working with you.